Hello, welcome back to Podcast vs. Player, episode 90. I'm Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who was asked, what's the difference between Spider-Man and a career at PvP? Nothing. They're both fictional. It's only bloody Dan.
Boo.
Yeah, self-loathing.
Yeah, that's boo.
I'm only joking. Spider-Man's real.
Oh. Whew, thank God for that.
Funny story before we start.
Oh, go on.
I've also got a very sore throat, if I sound weird. I was looking at car insurance a few years ago, and one of the job titles on there that you could select was Spider-Man.
Yeah, I actually... Do you know what? Because I've got... like on my PC, there's like a rotating desktop. Like, it just keeps going through different pictures. So, like, whenever I sync my phone or something like that, I'll take all the pictures from it and back them up on my computer, but they'll also go into a folder that sort of randomises the desktop background.
Yeah.
One of them is a screenshot of some car insurance website with Spider-Man as a drop-down box.
Yeah,
and
you
sent it to me. Yeah.
Amazing.
Spider-Man.
So that's going to be our new job. Spider-Man's.
Spider-Man.
Anyway, there's no news this week because nothing matters.
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I don't care. How are you?
Nah, shut up. It doesn't matter.
I'm sorry, Dan.
Well, I've got news.
Go on.
Of sorts. We got 2 new trailers. 2 whole new trailers. And I want to know if you've seen them both.
Which are we talking about?
Are we
talking about the big main one?
Well, obviously, yeah. But then also, a new trailer for the new Ghostbusters.
I haven't watched it yet, but I have actually heard good things.
I'm not entirely sold on it yet, but from what I can see, I like the look of the new sort of proton packs and stuff, but I'm still not entirely sold on the link between the original Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, and this one. I don't know how they're going to explain that. That's my only concern. Yeah, absolutely. I think Dan Aykroyd's a writer in it or something. But either way, Sigourney Weaver, Bill Murray, and Dan Aykroyd have already said they're in it in some capacity. If it's just a team up thing at the end with Rick Moranis or something like that, I don't know. But if they have a part in it, it'll be minimal because they want to sell a new Ghostbusters franchise out of it, which means they need to sell the new cast rather than, in a kind of Star Wars way. There needs to be a good handover from the old crew to the new ones.
Is Bill Murray going to get killed by his kid?
No, probably be Slimer. He's going to get a severe sliming and have a heart attack or something, probably. But yeah, the main... I really like the Ghostbusters. I like both films as they are.
Did you like the cartoon?
No. It was one of those things that didn't need... It had a perfect sort of...
intro.
Well, yeah, the intro was pretty good. But it had a great setup for making a brilliant kids cartoon out of. But I was never into it. Just didn't like it.
It was one of them cartoons from a quite a cult film, much like RoboCop. Didn't need a cartoon.
Yeah.
Especially considering RoboCop wasn't aimed at kids in the slightest.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, RoboCop's kind of got quite an adult theme when it comes to its actual content. Plus, you can't really show a RoboCop going around and killing bad guys and stuff.
Do you remember the cartoon, though?
Robots and stuff? No, I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah, oh man, it was ace.
It's like making a Terminator cartoon. It just can't be done.
I don't think there was a Terminator one.
No, I know, it's just that wouldn't...
No, I was trying to think if there was. There's definitely a RoboCop one. I remember watching that when I was a kid.
God, I bet that was awful.
I liked it at the time. I imagine if I watched it now, it'd be pretty shit.
Yeah, but I imagine so.
As are a lot of things.
Yeah, anyway, as I was saying...
Yes.
I really like Ghostbusters. I like the direction they're going in. I don't think this female cast is going to be an issue. I kind of think that's what a lot of people are hung up on, is the fact that women can't be Ghostbusters. But it's just like, no, it doesn't make any difference. Really doesn't. The only thing I'm worried about is if it's going to be a bad film, and if it is, it's going to tarnish the Ghostbusters name, and that's obviously something I don't want to happen.
But do you think if the original Ghostbusters came out now, we'd think it was as good?
Provided that there wasn't a similar themed film that had been out previously, because people go through, Hollywood goes through phases. Vampires will be big, space will be big, ghosts will be big, vampires and zombies and stuff will be big. So when they were going through a ghost kind of time, if someone came up with, what about someone who fights ghosts? Not in a kind of Van Helsing sort of way, but they're kind of nerds who have to fight a ghost or something like that. The premise could have come up if Ghostbusters wasn't around. But I think that if they made Ghostbusters shot for shot, same characters, same dialogue, but just everything looked a little bit cleaner and a bit more prim and proper. Yeah, I think it would still have the same, because it's still funny. I can watch it now and it's still fucking hilarious.
It's still a good film. I mean, it's like Back to the Future. That's still a great film.
But it's not something that you need to keep on rebooting and remaking.
No.
But as because I listen to quite a few different sort of YouTube channels to steal ideas. No. But I like to sort of see how many. If I have an opinion or a thought about something, I like to see as to what the extent that is. Do other people share the same kind of thing? Mr. Sunday Movies is a great YouTube channel. Strongly recommend it. Run by a couple of Australians, and they were talking about the new Ghostbusters, and he made a very good point in saying that if you don't like the new Ghostbusters, you still have the other two Ghostbusters films to watch. It doesn't take those away. They're not deleted from memory and history just because there's a new Ghostbusters. If you don't like it, it's fine. You've watched it, you gave it a go, you don't like it, go back and watch the originals.
We should all know by now, Dan, common sense does not exist on the internet.
Yeah, this is true. It is just sort of internet fueled, though. Any sort of murder of a film or raising upon high praises, it all comes from the internet these days. So I can't blame it. But yeah, Ghostbusters trailer, a new one. Although the only problem I had with the first one, it came out and it said 4 scientists 30 years ago saved New York, which is incorrect.
Yeah,
there was only 3 scientists. When Zedmore came along, he was just a guy. He said, I'm looking for a job. And they just like, yep, you're done. Yeah. That was it. So they weren't scientists. They've changed it in this one now. Now it says 4 friends. So that's I think better. The immediate backlash that people were just like, what are you on about? There weren't 4. And they're just like, oh, how did we miss that? Maybe we should go and watch them. Either way, though, that was a really good trailer. Quite looking forward to it. I'm still kind of iffy about whether I want to go and see it or not. And pay sort of full price at the cinema or whatever. But what I do want to go and pay full price for is
Kung Fu Panda 3.
It's already out.
Damn it!
Civil War, Captain America: Civil War. And actually, while I say Captain America: Civil War, I did see a stupid tweet someone put out the other day just saying this Civil War seems very cap heavy. I was like, well, it is Captain America Civil War, so kind of to be expected, really.
That's the thing, though. Everyone's looking at it as an Avengers film.
Bollocks to him.
And the fact that the title is Captain America Civil War.
But it's because Civil War is so big compared to where it says Captain America. I think people are just seeing that. They're not actually looking at the screen long enough to read that there's something else there. So I think they think it's like Avengers 3 Civil War, which, although it's going to have the same people there, it's still a Captain America film.
Hulk and Thor aren't in it.
I reckon they'll be explained as to their whereabouts, but it's only because you can't put them in it because they would wipe out everyone else.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, arguably though, so would Vision. So there's a really good scene in the trailer where Scarlet Witch seems to be screwing with Vision. So she's using her powers on him. Hopefully she gets a boost in powers. So
it looks like they're actually going to showcase just how powerful she is.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's what they did because Vision pretty much beat the shit out of Ultron. So if Scarlet Witch couldn't take down Ultron and Vision could, then how could she take down Vision? So you'd need to see her more powerful now. She's been trained, she's been exercising these mental powers and stuff, and now she's way better at it. But there's a whole bunch of cool stuff in it. Black Panther, I'm still boning my arse off. I've just got the biggest fucking... it came out wrong.
But it felt so right.
I don't know, but Black Panther looks amazing in it. And it looks like he is actually going to have a vibranium suit.
Yeah.
which is why those bullets just ping straight off him. Brilliant. He's
The
bulletproof.
suit looks fantastic.
I love it. Honestly, and I want to see him and Winter Soldier just beating the shit out of each other.
Even better though, Dan. Next week, Black Panther figure in Disney Infinity.
I have seen the new Disney Infinity figures. There's like Vision, Black Panther, Baloo, I think as well.
Baloo the bear.
From the Jungle Book.
The fox and rabbit from Zootopia. Ultron.
Ultron as well. Oh wait,
Yeah.
I didn't see Ultron.
Well, actually, on March 15th, there's a new playset out, and it's called Marvel Battlegrounds, and it's essentially Super Smash Bros, but Disney Infinity style.
Okay.
And it looks fucking awesome, and you get a special Captain America figure with it. That's different to the 2.0 one. It looks more Civil War-esque.
So he's not in the full blue outfit. It's kind of like the military one. He's
Yeah.
still got the helmet on though.
No, he hasn't got his helmet on. And
there you go.
His shield's like on the floor, and he's got his hands on the top of it. He looks pretty angry.
Sure.
It looks like a cool figure, to be honest. But like, you can use any Marvel figure from 2.0 and 3.0. 4 players, slap them in, and then it's all like arena, and you can smash through stuff and land into other areas and whatnot.
That's pretty cool.
It looks dead good. I might go and pick it up next week. I say might.
Yet another
Pre-ordered
waste of money from Callum Povey.
I could not give a fuck.
Anyway,
back
some really
onto
good stuff
subject.
that we see in this trailer, though. Rhodes, initially, the sort of initial trailer that we saw for Civil War, it showed that War Machine, he's fighting Bucky, and then in the next shot, he was on the floor, and his arc reactor was all fucked up and ripped out. However, now they've shown that he's been shot down by somebody.
Yeah.
Given by the blast, any ideas as to who you think might be doing it?
I actually have no idea, if I'm totally honest.
I've got 2, possibly. Firstly, being Vision.
See, I was going to say Vision, but
Only for the fact that it's a beam, but it's not as narrow as it was in Ultron. And as they're on the same side, it would seem unlikely. I'm just trying to think of anyone who would have access to energy weapons.
I just feel as though he'd be more fucking decimated than that if it was Vision.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like a glancing blow.
No.
It would sort of
He'd
hit him
be
square on.
dead.
Yeah. So I mean, it could only be then that like there's some kind of like the destroyer weapon that Coulson's got. Like if some kind of new helicarrier or something has been retrofitted with like a destroyer cannon, and that's what's trying to shoot him down.
Or what if he shot at like Cap or something, and Cap's put his shield in, it's just bounced back and got him?
Possibly, but it seemed like they're fairly high up though, so
Yeah, saying that.
I don't think his accuracy is that good from like 10,000 feet below.
It's like if by the time it had bounced back, it had phased out anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm still curious as to what's going on there. The whole sort of Tony Stark watch turning into a hand, though, and then Bucky shooting it, and that just Robert Downey Jr.'s face there was just like, holy shit, this is real now. This is super serious.
You were going to shoot him in the fucking face.
Yeah, exactly. You were just trying to kill me. So okay, fuck you, guy. Also, we see Ant-Man for the first time.
Honestly, best scene.
Fucking yeah! When Hawkeye just fires that arrow and it splits up, and then Ant-Man's just throwing himself onto Tony Stark.
I was actually talking. What day did the trailer come out?
Yesterday.
Wasn't yesterday.
Oh, no, it was Thursday because then I was talking about it at work. Yeah. So it's Thursday.
They said it was gonna hit on the the 10th. They said it was gonna hit on the 10th, and then I got up on the 10th and there was nothing. And I was like, oh, it's gonna be like 6 o'clock over here, isn't it? And me and James was talking about it like all day, and I said to him, I was like, if they'd managed to do a scene with Ant-Man running up an arrow, like in the comic.
Yeah. Being launched or running off one. Yeah.
I will absolutely jizz everywhere. And then James watched it before me because I was going to watch it when I came home. And he just like came over, he was just smiling. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh!
Why would he tell you that?
Yeah, he didn't actually say what it was, but
that's still the fuck's sake. This is.
It didn't ruin it. It didn't ruin it in the slightest. Not even a little bit. It just made me more excited.
Yeah, but you still told you that you were going to see it though.
Yeah, but it didn't matter. I was too happy.
It totally did. I would have been so annoyed. I was just like, no, seen that board.
Nah.
I cannot deal with
No,
spoilers.
because I was waiting for it.
No, it would.
I've still watched the trailer like 9 times since.
Yeah, no, so have I.
It makes no odds. Anyway, it's an amazing scene.
Yeah. So apparently Ant-Man's going to turn into Giant Man as well.
See, another thing I was looking forward to seeing was if they was going to include it, which I hope they do.
I think they have to, because I mean they've already done a pretty good job in Ant-Man explaining that, you know, blue shrinks, red enlarges, you know, in a sort of layman's terms. So people would have the understanding that if he can turn small, he can also turn big. He just turns it the other way. So I think that Giant Man coming in and just either as an accident just going, oh shit, this is a mistake, however, whoa, I'm a massive giant and super strong and I can just step on everyone. You know,
I like how he's just so nonchalant about it.
yeah, it's just like, oh my god, oh okay, this is actually pretty cool. But I do want to see them because that would be sort of like an end game sort of thing, or like a game changer.
Yeah.
He just turns into Giant Man and they're just like, oh shit, okay, we weren't prepared for this. We didn't know we could do that. Fuck. Because I mean,
on both.
Well,
both
yeah,
teams.
exactly. Because I mean, the proviso would be that Falcon would be the one who brought Ant-Man in, because he was the one who fought him. He was just like, shit, this guy might actually come in use. And then finally, of course, Tony Stark calls in Spider-Man, and I knew that Spider-Man was going to be in this.
That's all everyone was waiting for.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just, is he going to be in it? And then people were saying he's definitely going to be in it. So like, what's his exposure going to be? Is it going to just be a tiny thing, or is it going to be the main focus? Because that's what people want to see, and I think they did it perfectly.
I still think they shouldn't have put him in.
No, I'm super glad they did, because now that's it's sort of fueling the fire of speculation. So now that they've shown Spider-Man, you go, now here's your Spider-Man, here's the suit, here's his voice. He's obviously got ties with Tony Stark in some form or another, whether that's going to be pre-Civil War or during Civil War, whatever. However, now people can say, I like the costume, I hate the costume, is there going to be a different costume, is there another costume, is he going to get revealed, is he not, is he going to be in another Avengers film, blah 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 blah. So I think they've done it right to introduce it in the way they have, because as soon as they give a tiny little detail, so that everyone knew Spider-Man was going to be in it regardless. So all they need to do is just show him. Like, they don't send any pictures out. You know, this was the first time that anyone had saw him, and then they put it in the trailer 2 months before the film comes out, and then we won't see anything else from them up until you go and see it. It's just going to drive that fucking hype train.
I guess so.
I'm super excited for it.
I mean,
I think, you know how much I love the Batman vs Superman trailer.
Yeah.
Well, I say that the start of the Batman trailer, like with just Batman wailing on those fucking guys. But this trailer as a whole, god damn it, it's brilliant. It gives nothing away except the teams, or the initial teams, or maybe the end teams. We don't know yet. But at some point, they all face off. That's who it's going to be. There'll be people switching sides. There'll be spies. Blah blah blah. And maybe even set up some new people for the future, the Inhumans or something.
Possibly, yeah, because they're on the cards.
Exactly.
Get it out of the way. What did you actually think of Spider-Man?
The outfit, I love it.
Now, this is what I wanted to tell you earlier, but we decided to save it for the podcast, which, as we all know, is affiliated with GameSeek. Europe and the UK's number one online gamer.
Yeah, isn't that right? I that's what I heard on the grapevine. Yeah.
Anyway, I love the costume. It's I forgot his name. It's very Steve Ditko, like very classic Spider-Man, but
yeah, it's like the first incarnation
brought to a modern design. That's great. However, I think it's out of place in this film because of how modernised and rugged the like Cap's suit is, even Iron Man's suit. Basically, all the Avengers suits have been modernised to a point where they don't look out of place, and then you've got this bright red and blue Spider-Man.
True, but I kind of think that because this is Marvel's first go at having the first attempt at them having a Spider-Man film, or Spider-Man in a film, they want to say, we created Spider-Man. He's been like one of our massive selling points for decades, and we want to, as this is going to be the first time, we show him, we want to show him in the first outfit we drew him in.
Yeah,
and it's the sort of the really sort of like, but it's because people are used to the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, and then the Amazing Spider-Man suits with all the webbing all over it and stuff.
Yeah,
like that. It just seems too, like you say, it's modernised, but it's just too perfect for some guy to just whip up in his aunt's house.
This is an already established Spider-Man, so this isn't going to be his first costume.
Well, it has to be, because the immediate question would be, where the fuck have you been through the entire MCU? Phase 1, Phase 2, no mention of him.
Well, he's only 15, so established could be a year, 2 years.
True, but that still would have been within New York.
He was strutting down the street.
Maybe.
Winking at girls and...
Do you reckon then? I mean, do you think they're just going to sort of not really go into his origin? Because like people, you just like, look, we've had Spider-Man films for like 20 years. People know who Spider-Man is. Exactly. Do you think though they will still go, it was a radioactive spider, he's now, because we've seen web shooters, so he hasn't got the stupid natural spider silk.
We're assuming web shooters.
No, they're shown in the trailers.
Yeah, because it's just a black band.
Yeah, that Webb is coming from.
But
and he's got a utility belt with cartridges in it.
It's
so
99.9% gonna be web shooters because of the cartridges. That's the main giveaway.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the black bands are a giveaway, but the cartridges definitely are.
Well, because there's no, if he's got natural spider silk like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, then he wouldn't have any need to have those black bands on there.
No, it just could be aesthetic, because he's got black bands up the arms and on the boots.
No, I mean, it's like a proper bracelet thing. It's like a big chunky... Honestly, go back and watch it and just pause it as he's jumping over.
I'm just saying, it's not... It's obviously web shooters.
Then what are you arguing then?
No, but I'm saying, because the black aesthetic runs through the entire costume, that's what I'm saying. Because it's all up the arms, it's on the sides, and it's on the top of the boots and the bottom of the boots.
Yeah, but this is away from the suit, though. It's not a part of the suit.
No, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, so shut up, you bloody...
You shut up, because I've still got more gripes.
I don't care. I just think it's brilliant. So I like the fact that they've gone back to the tiny little spider. But, I mean, my obvious issue with this is that it's not the Spider-Man from Civil War, the comic. But the whole film isn't Civil War from the comic. Right. So I've got absolutely no problem with giving a classic sort of 1970s, 1980s Spider-Man look, and then just giving those weird mechanical eyes.
That's my gripe.
Yeah, I honestly wish they'd kind of gone down the Deadpool CGI route.
I wish they hadn't even done that. That would have been well out of place.
Compared to everyone else, I guess, but the fact is that this is his first incarnation into it. You know, don't forget we're going to be getting Doctor Strange and stuff, so he's going to be doing stuff with magic, which again is going to look really out of place, considering everything else is technology.
That's not going to look out of place compared to fucking Spider-Man's eyes changing on a mask.
Yeah, well, you don't need to have sort of Deadpool levels of his mouth and eyes, and you can see his eyebrows going up and stuff, but, you know, just to give a bit more intensity to emotion or shouting or something, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
I honestly think it'd look too out of place in his own film, maybe not in.
I guess, but
this is too realistic.
Yeah, but I mean,
grounded. Sorry.
True, but you're never going to see the Iron Spider from the comics, though. Because I mean, as much as I love the suit and it's a great suit, if he just showed up in this really like gold and red with extra limbs sort of thing, people would go, "What the fuck is that?" Well, I'd jizz, but it would just look super out of place because he'd look like Yellow Jacket from Ant-Man.
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, they might not go down an exact replica of the suit. Now, the only person I can think of, because apparently speculation is that Tony has had a hand in making these mechanical eyes.
Okay.
And I've heard that it's a nod to Tony making the Iron Spider suit in the comics. Yeah. So he's made in this suit. However, much like Cap's costume, this could just be something that Tony's done, and Spider-Man's gone to Tony and said, "I need some eyes, maybe like the binoculars and focus and stuff. So he's got a better field of vision and stuff. And he's just said, "Can you make me a mask?" And he's gone, "Yeah, sound excellent. Here you go." However, I've also heard Spider-Man will have 2 costumes in the film. So I'm hoping there will be...
So he could have one that he meets Tony Stark in, and then this is the one that Tony designs for him.
It's literally... I think it's going to be one or two. It's either going to be that, where he's in exactly the same suit, but without the mechanical eyes, and then he gets the one with the mechanical eyes. Or this is a previous suit Tony's already made for him, and then he gets somewhat Iron Spider suit.
Okay, well, I mean, if he says, like, if you join us, I've got a special suit with, redesigned web shooters, and I've got you different types of webbing, so they could be like fire and acid and ice webs and all that sort of stuff. And, that's sort of a fringe benefit of joining Team Iron Man. Maybe.
Well,
it's just that if given by Robert Downey Jr.'s sort of mad scientist approach to dealing with everything, if Spider-Man approached him and said, "I'll join you, but I'll need a new suit," I don't think mechanical eyes are the only thing he would have given him. Like, the Iron Spider suit is perfect because it's just like, okay, I can just give you a skin-tight suit, but it's got these appendages, and you've just got, it's got extra protection, it's bulletproof and all this sort of stuff.
You can camouflage and turn invisible and...
Exactly, it would be kitted out. It'd be a fucking pimped-out spider suit.
Well, that's one of the things, though, because the eyes on the Iron Spider suit have got, like a Jarvis-type thing in them. I can't think of a better way to describe it, but... like when RoboCop walks in a room and he scans everything.
Oh, it's like a heads-up display.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. It's got a heads-up display in it.
Okay, well that'd be pretty useful.
But I am assuming that's what this mechanical eye thing is.
What if he's just given him sort of a watered-down Jarvis system thing to, like an operating system to scan everything?
But
I guess
it is a big part in the comic though when he gets this Iron Spider suit. He's fucking ace. He's fucking kicking ass and all shit. I never say that. Anyway, and then when he swaps teams, he hands it back.
Yeah, well, he just gets rid of it. He puts on his old
yeah.
costume. It's just like, this is, I feel more comfortable in this.
And that's quite a big moment in the comic. So
it is. So you'd need to, if it's two costumes, you'd need to show them the change. So it'd have to start in his, where he's either Tony Stark's met him, or he meets Tony Stark, or he saves him, or whatever. However it happens that they meet each other. Then he makes him one and says, you know, I'll give you this if you join with us and help us fight Captain America. And then when he swaps sides, he has to swap sides. If they don't, I'll be really annoyed.
Yeah.
And then when he goes back to... well, yeah. But when he goes back to Cap, then he says, I don't need this fancy suit. I was faster with just the, you know, pyjamas, basically.
Pyjamas?
Yeah. That's kind of what he wears.
It's essentially, I suppose. Do you think this is the first time we see him?
What, as he turns up
this
there?
meeting, yeah.
That's actually something I brought up with someone after I made them watch it. It would be... Because, I mean, I still want his involvement and actual screen time to be minimal. You know, 10-15 minutes tops.
No, I disagree completely. I want it to be nothing, and then for the rest... If that makes sense. So, like, nothing for the first half, whatever.
No, because he's got too much going on. You know, Aunt May will get kidnapped, or Mary Jane will be moaning about something or whatever, and he'll come in. He'll help with that big sort of airport fight that they're going to have. That's going to be the main sort of Civil War battleground, I reckon. He, you know, he'd just sort of bob in, help everyone out, and then disappear, and then come back later on or something. I don't want him to be an all-encompassing, because there's so much going on in there anyway. I don't want it to be the focus for Spider-Man.
I think he's going to be not in it, and then he'll be in it, and then there'll be a good portion, and then he'll leave. Yeah. He'll be gone before the end.
Do you reckon it'll still be Radioactive Spider, or do you reckon it'll be some sort of Infinity Stone kind of deal?
What, that he got his powers?
Yeah.
Nah, he's going to be Spider still, isn't it? They're not going to change his origin.
Well, they can still keep him the same person. He's still a photographer for the Daily Bugle. He still has the powers of a spider, but... You know, is this some sort of... Because, you know, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch both got their powers, considerable powers, from an Infinity Stone. You know, could this be a run-off of some kind of Hydra experiment?
Nah, because, well, they originally were Magneto's children.
Yeah, no.
That's how they got the powers.
I'll tell you what, I watched the fucking road cut of Days of Future Past yesterday.
I still haven't watched that. I've had it on Blu-ray since it came out. I still haven't watched the fucking extras.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still Pieta Maximoff in that, but it's just like sort of living in this American suburb, and he just looks so out of place.
Yeah.
Proper bonkers.
Well, the reason they changed the because it's actually changed in the comics that they're not actually Magneto. It turns out there wasn't Magneto's kids, and this is how they got the powers. Blah blah. But they only changed that because of Fox having the X-Men.
Yeah.
And then when Disney took over, and then they wanted to include them in Ultron, they changed. That's when they changed the origin in the comics. Yeah. So that's just bullshit. They got the powers because they're mutants.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just that in their own world, it makes sense. But Spider-Man's still a mutate. He still had his DNA changed by this radioactive spider. So, he's on a similar kind of level to Deadpool. In the fact that he's had his powers introduced to him. He wasn't born with them. Yeah. So as long as it's just a quip, it's just sort of like, so how did you get to be Spider-Man? It's like, oh, a radioactive spider. Don't worry about it. I've told this story a dozen times, something like that, and then never mention it again.
I was completely certain it wasn't going to get mentioned until you just said that line, and I'm pretty sure there'll be something very similar to that in it. I guarantee it.
You're just like, I'm not going into it again. I've done it too many times now.
A cheap joke.
Yeah, exactly. Just do that and then never bring it up again.
Yeah.
If it was a different Spider-Man, if it wasn't Peter Parker, then absolutely do a small origin into it. But because they're going to be doing the origins of Black Panther, the introduction of Ant-Man, how the new Avengers are working, why this is happening in the first place, what the government's thinking, what the humans are sort of thinking generally, there's so much going on in a 2.5 hour long film. To then get another origin story in there as well would be fucking crazy.
So I don't even think we're going to get half of them.
What do you mean?
I don't think we'll get a Black Panther origin.
I don't think in the terms of who Black Panther is as a character or as a title in Wakanda.
I think we're just going to know why he's there.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be there, like because he's in the UN explosion thing. So his father's going to be killed in that, and then he's going to join Team Stark because he thinks Bucky's going to do it. That's what I'm thinking.
Probably something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be there for revenge.
Yeah, but they've already introduced Wakanda as a place, and they already know that vibranium comes from there. So all he needs to do is say, "I'm from Wakanda. I've got a vibranium outfit, and I'm a super soldier warrior, jungle man," and they'll say, "Okay."
Taking over the mantle from my dad.
Yeah, exactly. That he was there as a representative to the UN. He was killed in the explosion by the Winter Soldier, assuming it was the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'll team up with you because I want to kick his head in.
Yeah.
Which is when they end up on the roof.
It's almost as if we've wrote this film.
Well, it's almost as if we've read something about it previously.
Comics don't exist.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Favourite scene? I know it's a very short trailer. It's like 2 minutes long.
Okay, well, if you want to reword that then to, given that, what do you think the best scene is going to be out of all of the ones shown? So, sort of the airport thing. I honestly think it's going to be, when Tony Stark's there with the black eye, and he just backhands Captain America, just like without even looking, he just sort of swings backwards and just belts him. I think that's going to be the start of that whole sort of Captain America, Bucky, Iron Man sort of trio duel thing. I think that is going to be brilliant.
That's still my favourite. Out of all the trailers, that's still my favourite bit.
What, when the two of them are just
passing the shield back and
him.
forth?
Yeah, it's fucking sweet.
So good.
I reckon that's going to be the most emotionally charged one as well.
I actually think every single scene with Cap and Iron Man's going to be not tear-worthy, but pretty emotional.
Yeah, because they're going to be like, look, we are best mates, pretty much. We work really well together. We know each other, what each other's thinking, even if it's not, we don't agree with it. And then Bucky comes along and it's just like, well, actually, I've known him for like almost 80 years, so he's kind of my best mate, so I'm going to go with him on this one. And then Iron Man's going to take it really personally and just get really pissed off with him and beat them.
Do you reckon they'll win?
No, I mean beat them as in physically.
Oh, right. No, I mean, like, do you think...
I honestly don't see how he can. You take the suit off him, and that's it.
Yeah.
Both of them have got them both of them have got him beaten if you disable the suit in some way.
I'll be totally honest, I'm pretty sure Winter Soldier would take him on his own anyway.
Yeah,
in the suit.
I bet he wishes he hadn't destroyed all of his Iron Man outfits and cured Pepper by the time he gets the shit kicked out of him.
Mate, I wish he made another Hulkbuster.
Yeah, it's like, God damn it, why didn't I think this through? If he was Batman, he would have been prepared for this, and he'd have called in a dozen suits from space, and he'd have been absolutely fine.
He'd got Thanos on board.
Yeah, or just, the Hulk cage thing that launches down.
Yeah.
Just one of them for each of the opposing team, and then boom, stick him in that new prison that's in the ocean instead of the negative zone.
Oh man, can you imagine that? Not that, but it calls on Spider-Man. Spider-Man flips down, takes Cap's shield, which, I've got to say, it's a good sight to see Spider-Man with Cap's shield.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And he lands on a car, and then, I don't know, Cap says something like, oh, and he'll, what does Iron Man say?
He says something like, on the roof.
Yeah, something like that. And Cap's got a similar quip. And then the Guardians come down.
Guardians show up, the Collectors show up, everyone from Asgard shows up. It's just like, right, let's just sort this out. See, I had a theory the other day, right? I was talking about this because I just watched Age of Ultron with my housemate. We've only got Ant-Man to do, and then she's seen them all, and she's ready for Civil War. But I think what's going to happen in Infinity Wars Part 2, I reckon Thanos is going to have the Infinity Gauntlet, he's going to have all the Infinity Gems, or stones as they're called here. Everyone's going to be teamed up to try and take him out. He's going to have the Infinity Gauntlet, he's going to use it, and because it affects time and reality and space and everything, he's going to use it, and then all the Doctor Who's all going to show up. All of them at the same time just saying, what is going on here? Right, we're sorting this out right now. You get back to whatever fucking space rocket chair that you sit in and do not come back. We'll keep a hold of this fucking gauntlet because none of you people can be clearly trusted with it. And then they all fuck off and then they never make another Marvel film again. That's the complete ending of it. And they just say, we're sick to death of it. We'll get Doctor Who in, he'll clean the whole mess up. None of them ever happened. Go and buy some fucking comic books, you big nerds.
So, the Avengers, the original Avengers, the new Avengers, the Guardians, whoever fucking else they rope in, none of these people can take down Thanos. And then Doctor Who comes and just tells him to fuck off and he goes.
No, all the Doctor Who's, like all 21 Doctor Who's all show up at the same time.
I don't care how many there are.
They all just point the sonic screwdrivers at him and just unscrew his head.
I don't even like Doctor Who, and I know he hasn't got a sonic screwdriver anymore.
I don't know as to whether he has any more.
No,
nor do I
he's
care.
got glasses that does it. James loves Doctor Who. That's all he talks about.
Glasses?
He's got glasses and they unlock stuff.
Well, that's... What about if they get broken?
I don't care. I hate Doctor Who.
Well, no, we were thinking of that would be a sort of way of... because eventually it'll get to the point where DC and Marvel have to cross over. So it'll be Justice League versus the Avengers. And the only thing that can tear that sort of gap in dimensions and reality would be the Infinity Gauntlet. They cross over, they fight for a bit, then Doctor Who shows up, sends the Avengers back to wherever they came from, seals the hole, and then no one is ever allowed to make comic book films again. Unless Doctor Who approves it. He says, right, okay, it's about time for another one. It's been 20 years.
So every post-credit scene will be just a Doctor wearing a gauntlet. And each time he takes one out, each time he takes a gem out, that's a year closer to the next film.
Yeah, so at some point we'll have a 6-year countdown, but that could be 10 years from now. Yeah, that could work.
No, it wouldn't.
Do that, Marvel.
Don't do that. Have nothing to do with Doctor Who, and don't stop making films. Because obviously Marvel are big fans of the podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
That's about all I've got really for Civil War.
Yeah, it's we're still 2 months away, but it is the last trailer we're going to get.
Yeah.
So I mean,
there might be some TV spots though.
Possibly, but it'll only be like an extra second or two that we haven't already seen.
Yeah, nothing new.
But because I went back and I listened to a Civil War podcast we did in May last year, and although we're not too sure as to what was happening, the only thing I want to sort of say about that podcast is the fact that I said that Hank Pym was killed by Cyberthor. It wasn't Hank Pym, it was Goliath.
It was Goliath.
Yeah, so apologies for that. That was it.
Huh. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, but is there anything that you think is any sort of twists or turns, anything like that? Anything you want to predict before we get to the point?
Oh, predictions.
quickly, because we need to talk about the...
We do. My prediction is it'll all be a dream and everyone was in a coma on an island.
So it was lost.
No, they knew where it was, but
Oh, right.
hey, humor's back.
No.
I honestly don't know. I think they're going to keep as close to the comic as they feasibly can, but they before they've even started filming, they already can't do the film.
Yeah. Okay, well, what about then, because we already know where 4 of the Infinity Stones are at the moment. I personally don't think you can fit an Infinity Stone recovery story into Civil War.
That's where Thor is.
What, getting the
He's
last
looking for the last one.
Yeah, well, that's 2.
Two, sorry.
Yeah. And then I think that either Stephen Strange or Guardians 2, they're going to have the last one.
Yeah.
So whichever it is, I don't know. But do you reckon they'll make any mention to Doctor Strange, or there'll be a Guardians reference or something like that?
I don't think so. There's nobody on that planet has got any. There's no reason to mention the Guardians.
Well, other than Thor, but again, he's not going to be there.
He's not there.
Unless some Asgardians do show up. Just because Thor's not there doesn't mean that the...
there's a lot of people in it already.
True, but I'm just talking about setting up Infinity Wars, because it's going to be solo films up until Infinity Wars.
We've got Ragnarok first.
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's going to be solo films up until Infinity Wars. So in order to get them all together in one place and say, by the way, there's a bunch of aliens out there, and Star-Lord, and whatever.
Aliens and Star-Lord.
Yeah, well, he's not an alien,
No,
he's a human.
Well, he's technically...
Half human, something else.
Yeah.
Which we still don't know.
Nobody knows. I don't know. I don't think there's going to be a Guardians or a Strange reference.
What about Daredevil then? Daredevil reference. Jessica Jones.
Possibly a Matt Murdock reference. Maybe like in a paper or something.
See, I did say on the last one that if there was going to be a Daredevil reference, it would be to Matt Murdock as a lawyer or something like that, rather than Daredevil, because they're big players. They're not really going to be keeping a track of sort of mid-level people who are fighting crimes on the streets. But Spider-Man would be exposed to someone like Daredevil or the Punisher. So if he was to bring it up, maybe.
I think we've got more chance of season 3 of Daredevil mentioned in Civil War at some point or other.
Assuming it gets a 3rd season.
Fuck it. It's already been renewed, I'm pretty sure.
No. Over the weekend, Flash, Arrow, Gotham, they were all renewed. I think Legends of Tomorrow was as well.
Not being funny.
I'm quite disappointed by
if Legends has been renewed,
Daredevil's
got another 6 seasons. Anyway,
sure.
Another fantastic trailer.
Yes, I think we kind of briefly touched on it a week or so ago when we did the last podcast. But basically, again, I think it's the final trailer for Dawn of Justice was released. And the only thing I want to comment on is the fact that Ben Affleck, you win, my friend. You win.
He's already the best Batman.
Absolutely. I'm totally sold on him, and I'm struggling to sort of convert people to the Ben Affleck team simply for the fact of Christian Bale. No,
Christian Bale wasn't a very good Batman. He was fine.
I don't think he was a good Bruce Wayne.
He was a turd Bruce Wayne.
As Batman, he's fine only as a fighter rather than what Batman actually is, which is a fucking detective.
I can't remember if I told you or not, but I remember my friend went to see... no, that was a completely different story. That was Deadpool. Anyway, I saw on Facebook somebody commented on the trailer.
Yeah.
And the comment was, I did write it down in preparation for the podcast, but I have misplaced it. But I know it pretty much word for word. And it said the costume in the Nolan films, like he put it on piece by piece. It was like armor. He's like a walking tank. This guy looks like he's in a fucking onesie. No, it looks exactly the same as the Frank Miller costume.
Yeah, again, source material. Have a look at it before you start calling it out on costume inaccuracies.
It looks a million times better than Nolan's
I don't think it's like the sort of the cloth that he usually wears. But the thing is, though, if you're you've got incredibly fast reflexes and martial arts speed, you want the
You
give
need to be able to
in the
move
outfit.
your neck.
Yeah, well, that's a given. So you don't want to make it out of metal. You don't want to make it out of rubber. If it's just a onesie, then I'm sure you can fight a hell of a lot faster in that. And that's kind of his key. It's speed.
Bale's suit fit the tone of the film. It was grounded. It was realistic. He'd need this kind of armour for the tone of the film that it was set in.
But it still wasn't bulletproof, it still wasn't dog-proof, and it still wasn't knife-proof.
No.
So there was no point to it as armour.
But
You may as well have just had the rubber suit.
Yeah. He just accepted it for what it was, though. Whereas this is way better. It looks
it's
like
almost like
Batman.
Kevlar, sort of liquid Kevlar that's just been sort of like poured into a mould.
Looks
and
like it's just
peeled
poured
out
over
it. It kind of reminds me of the the Kingpin Kevlar suit. That sort of like liquids,
similar.
almost like shimmering, like silk, like bulletproof weave sort of stuff. Something like that is like inside the inner lining, but it's as thin and as light as possible, so he can keep his speed up.
Yeah, looks
Because
great.
as clears from that fucking opening to that trailer, he's incredibly fast and incredibly strong as well. But he doesn't need a powered or metal armor suit to do that. If he throws you at a wall, you go through that wall.
Yeah.
It's just sheer power and using his weight and your weight against you. So regardless of whether you attack him or not, you'll go through that fucking wall or the floor if he punches you hard enough.
It was just I'm not sure if we said it on the podcast or not, but if Dawn of Justice turns out to be really bad, that scene is going to be just make up for it, personally.
Yeah, I think that's going to be
It's
sort of
fucking
like
tremendous.
An intro to Batman in his sort of day-to-day crime fighting.
Yeah.
Rather, it's not going to have anything to do with Superman or Wonder Woman. It's just going to be him doing his normal thing, and then someone intervenes. Or that's just a standard mission.
Yeah.
As for predictions for Batman vs Superman, though, obviously we know that Robin exists in the Batman vs Superman universe now.
He's dead.
But he's dead. But given that there will be a Batman solo film, do you think we'll get a Carrie Kelly?
I don't know, because I read an interview with Ben Affleck earlier this week, and he's talking about the type of Batman he's playing, and this is a Batman that is still mourning Robin.
True, but how long was it before, after Jason Todd died before he took on Tim Drake? Do we know a rough idea of the timescales?
It wasn't crazy long, but
I know, but I mean,
he was still upset at the fact he's been replaced. So
true, but again, though, we still don't know as to how long it's been at this point in the film, or at least when we see it in the trailer. How long has Robin been dead since that? Since we see it there, so that could have been 3 years ago, which means that. Because Carrie Kelly kind of forces her services upon an old Bruce Wayne.
she does, but I don't think Affleck's as old.
He's not as old as the Dark Knight Returns
No.
Batman, not by a long shot. But his main enemy in that is the mutants and the Joker. Old Joker. So it's clearly not going to be an old Joker because it's Jared Leto's Joker.
Well, we don't know when the solo films are going to be set. They could be 20 years after the events of Dawn of Justice.
What, like the Suicide Squad? You mean?
No, the solo Batman films.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Well, but Ben Affleck's Batman is in Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, but that could be like directly straight after Justice League in terms of time. But just the actual solo Batman films.
Oh, I see. Right.
He could be playing an even older Batman. Unlikely, but
that's the good thing though, is the fact that because if they're working towards the sort of Dawn of Justice kind of the Dark Knight Returns kind of Batman, that sort of older, grizzled but still pretty competent kind of Bruce Wayne, then he could carry on making Batman films for 20 years, and then eventually we could get to the point where they could just go back and do Dark Knight Rises again and just take out Superman.
Returns.
Yeah, Dark Knight Returns. Yeah.
Superman wasn't in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, but you could still just have an old Because I mean, like Jeremy Irons is nowhere near old enough to play the Alfred that dies in that. So,
Yes.
plus I don't think you could have him in it and then kill him off in his first fucking outing. As
I don't know. They've done it in a lot of other films.
I don't know.
But no, if they're smart and this does well, it's going to make money regardless.
Oh, absolutely.
They're going to get at least a trilogy out of him, not including BVS.
Sure. But as for Robin, because I want to see a new Robin, mainly for the fact that Robin is sort of, to Joe Public, a bit of a joke, whereas we obviously both know that, you know, Robin is actually... I fucking love Robin as a character.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I mean, if you want to look to sort of the Tim Drake Robin from Arkham City, say, or from even Arkham Knight, he's a fucking badass.
Oh, fucking Dick Grayson.
I mean, to see Nightwing in a Justice League film or something as well, I would... Oh, man.
I'd honestly love, even if it's a cameo, just get Nightwing in there, man.
I'm going to say this then. If it's confirmed that it's Jason Todd who died, then Dick Grayson's alive and Nightwing will be in a Batman film or Batman Superman Justice League film at some point. Yeah. Nightwing will be in it if it's Jason Todd that's dead.
In a fashion the same as Arkham Knight, or even Under the Red Hood, where it's literally a couple of times.
What do you mean?
That we see Nightwing. Like, so we see.
Oh,
Nightwing,
right, yeah,
and
absolutely,
it's like,
yeah.
It's like, need a hand. He's like, I've got this.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, even though he's trained him and he's like his best student, he still really annoys him when he comes in and helps.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I don't need your help. You know, you've fucked off basically and left me and Batgirl alone. You cunt. So
word for
definitely,
word.
yeah, I definitely don't need your help now. Yeah. But you know, there is the sort of, you know, what about you know, Batgirl or Batwoman?
I think if we're going to see any sidekicks, the only female we'll see is Carrie Kelly.
What about Crypto then?
There's going to be no fucking...
Crypto the Superdog or Ace the Bat Hound.
Might possibly see Ace,
but he's not called Ace and he's definitely not wearing a bat outfit.
Well, it might be called Ace, but he's just going to be a dog. Yeah, we're not going to get any dogs fighting.
I guess.
There's a high possibility he'll have a dog. Purely,
yeah, but not one with a cowl.
No, just one that's roaming the grounds.
Yeah. No, I do want to see it. If they say it was Dick Grayson, because I mean, they may just say it was just Robin that was killed, and they may never mention a name. That kind of gives them the freedom then to say which Robin it was, and then if they bring in a new one, they can then take a choice as to whichever one they want to go for.
I think it's going to be heavily hinted that it's Jason.
That would probably be a good assumption, given the fact that he's the only Robin that died.
Damien died. He's back alive now. They brought him back, but
well, that's the sort of the beauty of being a comic book hero, though, isn't it? It doesn't matter if you die or not; you'll still come back.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah. Actually, no. That raises a good point though about Civil War. Do you reckon they will kill off Captain America in it?
No.
Do you reckon it's too soon?
I think it'll be Iron Man.
Well, they kill Iron Man.
Yeah. He's not doing any more.
That's true. There's no more solo films announced. Although I did actually see something today. I can't remember what it was on, but something about Iron Man 4.
No.
So, honestly, I think they're both having so much fun with the characters. I can't see a reason as to why they are. And plus, they know for a fact that if they make the films, they'll get paid a hell of a lot for doing so. It's just that if you get bored with doing the same kind of things, you know, if you don't think that you can sort of bring...
It's not so much that, though. It's knowing when to give it up.
Well, that's it. It's just sort of like, you know, we need to step back and let someone else have a go.
Especially after Iron Man 3.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's my sort of take on the whole sort of Iron Man thing. Iron Man started, it was the first film in a brilliant franchise of Marvel films. But Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 got progressively kind of weaker.
Yeah.
They're still not terrible films by any means.
Iron Man 3 is pretty bad.
No, I still like 3. I do like 3. With the whole sort of... I mean, the Mandarin thing was a bit bloody stupid, but other than that...
What Mandarin bit? He was fucking barely...
Well, it was the Mandarin, but... Well, no, he wasn't the Mandarin. He was just called the Mandarin. Yeah, which is stupid. But... I wouldn't mind them going back and say, well, actually, Ben Kingsley is the Mandarin. He's also just a very good actor,
yeah.
And he was just acting at that point, saying he was an actor. So he could actually be the Mandarin all along.
I don't think they're going to do.
No, that's a bit too complicated for them, I think.
But no, I'm going to say Iron Man.
If anyone, I think because because they sort of focus so heavily on Hawkeye and his sort of family, and he's an integral part of the team in terms of that he needs to keep them together, sort of thing in Ultron. It would make more sense to kill someone like Hawkeye off, mainly for the fact that there's no grounds for a Hawkeye film on its own, and the fact is that people don't really care, which is why they sort of gave him more screen time, and gave him sort of fleshed him out a bit more with the family and everything. So it'd be more impactful now to kill him off rather than just in Ultron kill him off.
I still think nobody cares, and that it's going to be a big thing. And it's
I think more in the fact of it, not necessarily for the public's reaction, but if he was killed off by an accident or something in the Avengers thing, that may be what sort of that would impact them as a sort of superhero team, rather than the public watching. People may not care as to whether he gets his head blown off or not, but obviously it would impact them.
Yeah, but they think Cap or Iron Man would be an even bigger impact.
True, but again, it's Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. that sell those films. It's not Captain America, it's not Iron Man, it's their portrayal of them. That's what's selling the tickets to go and see them.
It might not necessarily be Iron Man or Cap, but it's going to be someone bigger than Hawkeye. Like they did with Ultron, they built it up. I'd have put money on Hawkeye was going to die as soon as they started putting emphasis on him. It's going to be Hawkeye, and then it was Quicksilver. It's like he was in six scenes.
Why do you keep underusing Quicksilver? He's fucking brilliant. God damn it.
But it was more impactful because you didn't expect it, but it was a character that everybody liked.
But that's the thing, though. They may have just hyped up Hawkeye more to make it more likely that he would be killed off, then they don't kill him off.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did, and I'm pretty certain
then
that's
they
what
might,
they did it for.
They might kill off Bucky then. Kill off Bucky or Falcon.
I don't think it'll be Falcon.
Well, whichever one it is, then when you kill off Captain America, the other one can take his place. So if you kill off Falcon, Bucky can be the new Captain America. If you kill off Bucky, then Falcon will be the new Captain America. But, if you kill off Tony Stark, you can still just stick a dude in an Iron Man suit, and you've got another Iron Man. Yeah. They've done it with War Machine.
It's very true.
But, Rhodes is probably more likely being killed off, given the fact that you see him getting shot out of the sky.
But, is that too obvious?
It would be really annoying if they put the death of Rhodes in the trailer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would be way too obvious.
I think he'll survive. At least that bit.
Yeah. I'm going to say either Bucky or Falcon then, to be honest.
I'm going with Iron Man.
Okay, well, there you go. 13th of March, 2016. Death potential for Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, Iron Man, or Bucky Barnes, or Falcon.
I like how Iron Man had a proper introduction as Robert Downey Jr. and then Bucky Barnes or Falcon.
I can't remember either of their names.
I have no idea.
Like Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes is Winter Soldier, isn't it? So.
Yeah. Oh no, I meant like the real name, like their actors.
I haven't got a fucking clue.
Anyway, Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really good, and I think it might be better than Civil War.
I actually think the opposite. I think Batman vs Superman is going to be great, but as for an overall film, I think Civil War has because everyone in there is already so fleshed out.
No, I mean,
I think it's going to be a better film overall.
I think it's going to be the surprise film, and it's going to be better on the basis that there's a very good chance Civil War is going to be a fucking ace film. But I don't know. I'm still disappointed from Ultron. It was great and I loved it, but could have been so much better.
But this is also, I mean, my only concern for which would be better would be the fact that because Batman and Superman have never been on film together.
Yeah.
that in itself is going to be a pull for everyone who's been watching Batman and Superman since the 70s and 80s.
Not before that, isn't it?
So I mean, okay then, regardless of personal opinion, then which do you think he's going to have over an opening weekend, sort of opening 3 or 4 days, which is going to pull in the more money?
So I want to say Disney. I want to say Civil War, but I think a lot of people are going to go and see Batman just to see if Affleck's good or not.
Well, because of that fact alone, I would have to say the opposite. Because people like Christian Bale so much, and a lot of people sort of saw Man of Steel and weren't too impressed with it, or they said, well, this isn't Superman at all. The fact that they put a new Batman in, and the fact that it's Ben Affleck as Batman, I think that's going to steer people away.
I don't know. I genuinely think the opposite. It might not make as much as Civil War, but I think a lot of people are going to go just on that basis.
Do you think either of them will make more than Star Wars?
No.
I think Civil War is going to be the highest grossing on an opening weekend for sure.
More than Star Wars?
No, not more than Star Wars.
God.
I mean, for 2016 as a whole, more than Deadpool, I'd say.
I don't know, Deadpool made a lot of money.
Deadpool did make a lot of money, but again, Joe Public don't know who Deadpool is. Everyone already knows who everyone is in Civil War.
By the time Fox had finished with their marketing, every fucker knew who Deadpool was.
Well, they only knew it was Ryan Reynolds, and he was just a bit funny and a bit sweary. And that was about it.
That's enough for some people.
It is, but given the 2 trailers, then I'd say the Civil War trailer is way more brutal than any of the sort of previous Marvel trailers.
Yeah, but up until this point, Winter Soldier had that title.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
as this is a sequel to Winter Soldier, this is why I prefer Captain America films to all the other, exception of Deadpool, to all the other Marvel films. So much better than the Avengers and Iron Man and Thor. Especially Thor. God.
I don't know, because I really liked James Spader as Ultron. It really sold it to me.
You thought Ultron was better than Winter Soldier?
No, I mean Ultron as a character, James Spader playing Ultron. If I wasn't happy with the film, if I wasn't happy with that, I think it would have had an impact as to whether I didn't like the film or not. But because I love James Spader, and I think he did a brilliant job as Ultron.
Oh, he did, definitely.
I think it made the film for me. But do I prefer that to Winter Soldier? I honestly don't even know if I can answer that.
I definitely don't.
Because there's a lot of different elements in both of them.
It's a good film. It's a very good film. It's just that I think Winter Soldier, up until Deadpool came out, Winter Soldier was my favourite comic book film, including DC.
Yeah.
I'd probably say Deadpool is now.
Yeah.
But Civil War could change that. Batman
It
vs
could.
Superman could change that.
But the thing is, I'm given off what we've seen of Batman, his fighting style so far, he's clearly incredibly brutal.
Yeah.
But Bucky tries to shoot Iron Man in the face, so I think it's not going to be sort of a light-hearted romp, sort of fighting bad guys and sort of making funny quips at each other. They can't do that anymore.
No.
They are literally fighting against their own friends. Yeah, all of that is going to be gone.
Yeah.
There'll still be jokey elements, and I think Spider-Man will bring a new sort of comedy to it as well. But I think for the most part, it's just going to be them beating the shit out of each other.
I hope it's as brutal as it can be, given the rate, because it's still going to be like a PG-13 or something like that.
Yeah. But I think doesn't Batman vs Superman got the same?
I think it is. Yeah.
I'd like it to be a 15, mainly for the fact that I want Batman to be breaking arms and legs.
I know the theatrical release, when it's finally out on Blu-ray and DVD, has an R-rated version.
Oh, okay, so we could see a better cut, a more violent cut.
Probably have a few more violent scenes in it, I guess. It's similar to the Wolverine.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this was announced after Deadpool, so it could be a case of, I know they can't still be. They must have already have done it, because obviously it's out in 2 weeks. So yeah, no, forget I said that. That was stupid. But I do think more films are going to go down. I mean, like the next Wolverine's going to be rated. It's going to be R-rated.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of, not just comic book films, but a lot of films in general are going to. I think companies are going to be more embracing of the term R-rated.
Yeah, I mean, other than The Punisher, there really hasn't been anything other than Deadpool, which has kind of just said, fuck it, it's for adults this time.
Watchmen, Blade, 300.
Was Blade an 18?
Blade was an 18.
Jesus, that doesn't deserve it at all.
Blade, Watchmen, 300.
Was Watchmen honestly an 18?
Pretty sure it was. I am.
Why though?
9 times out of 10 sure it was an 18.
It's a fantastic film, but there wasn't really any sort of swearing or anything there. I mean, it's obviously a very grim, very dark. You know, there's a few scenes in. Well, there's people that get exploded by Dr. Manhattan, I suppose.
I'm actually looking now, young man.
But you know, there's way more violence in Deadpool than that was in an 18.
Yeah, but this is also in a different time as well. Like,
Wasn't that long ago, but there is.
Well, Naked Gun was fucking as R-rated.
Yeah, but I think the American and Europe sort of what's it called, like the rating system, they seem to be very differently aligned.
It was a lot different.
Yeah.
I can't actually find it, Dan. Yeah, it's
like,
an 18.
Watchmen is.
Yeah, rated R in America, 18 in the UK.
Yeah.
Also, Matrix Reloaded. That was also R-rated. Doesn't count as a comic book film though.
No, not at all.
But, yeah, but Blade, 300, Watchmen, Ghost Rider should have been. It might have been a good film then.
Well, yeah, that's the thing though. It's how many of these have been, you know, critically acclaimed and made billions.
300 did pretty well. Blade did.
300 did.
Blade did well.
Yeah, but that was in like 1999, wasn't it, or 2001?
Yeah,
something like that. That's super old. I want Blade to come back. Give me another Blade film, sure.
They made Blade a woman.
So?
I'm just saying, and that was the news.
That was your input for this whole podcast.
Wesley Snipes had tweeted or said in an interview or something that he was in talks with Marvel about bringing Blade back, and they'd got a script and they were setting a date and stuff. And then Marvel literally the next day went, all different Marvel, Blade's a woman. So it was all, fuck me. Sorry.
It's alright.
3, 2, 1. But that's pretty much it. We've rambled on for quite a long time, Dan.
Little bit. A few things to cover though.
We've done well.
I can't help but feel that because Dawn of Justice is out in like 2 weeks' time,
It is.
we should do maybe a bit more of an in-depth chat outside of a podcast about what we think about what could happen in Dawn of Justice, or you know, just sort of talking about, you know, the Dark Knight Returns, something like that.
I think
something
we should.
Batman-y related. Well, no, Batman Superman related, should I say?
Yeah, that could be our next thing. Right, that is one thing that's coming up on the channel
Before Batman vs Superman comes out.
Yeah, so we'll do it. We'll do it tomorrow. So the 14th. Well, we've done the podcast. We normally do a podcast on a Sunday.
Okay, yeah.
But this week we've decided to do it on a Saturday because we're fucking rebels. We've fought the system. We'll do what we want.
It's also because you're very lazy. So.
Whoa. So tomorrow and every Sunday from now on, you need to go to the shop and you need to get yourself fed.
I'll be before
I'm going to
Almost Famous. Almost Famous Day tomorrow, so I'll be well and truly fed. Plus, last Saturday I'd eaten 40 quid's worth of sushi, so trust me, I was more than enough, like completely fed over the entire weekend.
That's disgusting.
I love a bit of sushi.
I hate sushi.
If anyone's listening who wants to take me out to Yo Sushi somewhere, then you're more than welcome to.
If anyone doesn't like sushi, we can go and get something else.
Yeah, but no one lives in fucking Nosal.
Let's just say where I live.
big enough of a place for no one to narrow it down. He's got a yellow car. He's got 2 dogs. Google Map it. I'm sure you figure it out.
Anyway, I put an Uncharted video up the other day.
Yeah, you did. And you actually pulled off some pretty fucking sweet moves. Like that Indiana Jones move where you sort of swung up and then landed on that guy and wiped him out and then killed another one. I'm pretty sure that was about like 8 hours of footage, and you managed to get like 7 minutes of you doing something cool out of it.
I'm not gonna lie, Dan. The actual video itself was about an hour.
Really?
And a lot of it was because I just did a constant record because obviously it was just me. And a lot of it was matchmaking and stuff.
Yeah.
So you could probably take a good 15 minutes out of that as well. But there's also times where fuck all happened.
Well, it'd be a lot of sort of running about.
Yeah, and it was boring, so that's why I decided to just do the bits that I found good or funny.
Yeah, there was some funny bits in
it. But yeah, so it's kind of it's my first hands-on with Uncharted 4. Obviously I'm talking about the multiplayer beta that was on last weekend. And I played it all weekend pretty much. And it was really good. And it's probably better than Uncharted 2's multiplayer, which is very good.
Yeah.
I also am currently in the process of doing a Hitman video for the new Hitman game. And I will say it's very good. Not the video is crap, but the game is amazing.
Yeah.
And for a beta, I only encountered one glitch.
That's pretty good.
It's a pretty big one though, and I'm on a yacht and there's hundreds of people and they just disappeared and then reappeared. When I moved, like I stood in a certain place, and I'm not sure if it's on the video, but it happened every time at the same spot. And if I stood there and turned the camera, everyone would disappear.
Well, it's out now, so I hope that's been fixed.
I'm hoping so, because the beat was last weekend and then it came out on the 11th, so it wasn't a lot of time to fix things.
Yeah.
Other than that, the only thing I don't like, the field of vision, where, you know on Absolution where you can duck your head? You can't do that on this. But you can, like, there's a certain bit where you can be like a barman on a yacht and you can like get behind a bar and just be cleaning glasses and stuff.
That's pretty good.
You can like blend into environments and stuff. But if you're dressed up as a security guard, or if you get too close, other security guards will be like, hey, you, and then they'll come and talk to you and shit. I don't actually know what happens when they come and speak to you because I just run off. But it annoys me that the field of view that they seem to have is very large, even if you're in a crowd of people.
See, I think that should only be a factor if you're going after like a high profile target. Like if you're assassinating the president, everyone should be wary of you. Everyone should be like, I don't recognise him, who is he, what's he doing here?
Yeah.
But if you're just after a drug lord or something like that, then it should be a case of, other than his sort of like immediate bodyguards, no one should really pay much attention to you.
Yeah.
Especially if you're blending in correctly, you know, you're not wearing a chef's outfit walking through the middle of a park, because then people are just gonna be like, what the fuck's that? So as long as you're not drawing attention to yourself, you should be blending into the environment in such a way that people don't pay attention to you.
What?
Unless you're, you know, if you're in a uniform, say for a company like a private security firm or something, odds are they'll know who they all are.
Yeah.
So they'll go, wait a minute, who's that?
But it's a lot of them.
That's
though.
fine, but
It's not just security and stuff. I mean, like there's one on like an army base, and you can be on the outside where you got like just like the security, just not like on patrol. They'll recognise if you're not one of them. Yeah. But then you go inside and you can disguise yourself as a general, and nobody fucking notices. But those very, very, very minor niggles aside, fucking amazing, and I would actually highly recommend it. But I'm probably still going to wait until there's more content.
Yeah. Would you recommend then that people get the intro pack, and then once the
Definitely.
upgrade pack has gone down in price, pick it up?
Definitely.
Then. Yeah.
I'd honestly say if you got the money to just go, I'm just going to buy it now, because it's still only like just a normal price of a game. You just don't get all the content all at once. You wouldn't regret it if you've just got money to throw away.
Yeah.
If you're on a bit of a budget, or you're thinking, well, I wouldn't say you'd regret it, but if there's another game you're thinking of getting, I'd probably get that and then get Hitman at a later date. But it's a really good game. It's literally the best bits of Blood Money, Contracts, Contract Killer, even Absolution, and then just made them all better.
That's good. I'm tempted by the intro pack for sure.
It's like 11 quid or something, isn't it?
It is on Steam, yeah. I don't think I've seen it anywhere cheaper at the moment, but keep an eye on sort of G2A, Green Man Gaming, Poster Bargain, that kind of stuff, because no doubt within a few weeks or so you get a $5 off or something maybe off the larger packs. The intro pack will probably say about the same, maybe £8 or something.
You might also want to check out gameseek.co.uk.
Aren't they Europe's #1 retailer for digital video gaming? Is that right?
UK and Europe's #1 online video game retailer. Not just digital games.
The UK is in Europe, so it's fine.
I'm just reading what it's no, but it's not just digital. All physical copies of games, memorabilia, other stuff that I should mention.
Wow, that sounds great. People should go and check that out immediately.
They should, because we get money.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Tell them we sent you.
Yeah.
But where can they find those links to GameSeek and 365 Games and Zavig and such?
They can find them on the website, which is www.podcastversusplayer.com or .co.uk, as well as links to all our favourite affiliates. You can also find our YouTube channel, which is
www.podcast. No,
no,
it's not. Yep, that's the second time I've done that. I think maybe you told me to do the website first, and I'm just sort of used to that. Maybe it's because I'm not paying attention. Could be both. I really don't know. Either way, it's youtube.com/podcastvsplayer. But if you want to talk to us individually, you can drop us a tweet to @podcastvplayer.
Well done.
Yeah. Or you can drop us an email to playervpodcast@gmail.com if you have any suggestions or if you think we're cunts.
Do you want to try and do the Instagram?
No, not even close to. I still haven't been on.
It's literally just go on Instagram, put Podcast Versus Player. That's it.
Oh, there we go. Brilliant.
Easy.
Sorted.
On that note, Dan, the last Batman.
Bear in mind, this is very long, so
I don't care.
Wrap it up.
The last Batman-related thing you did.
Ooh, that's actually not a bad one. Well done.
Come on, if we went on longer.
I tried to, like, my computer had a bitch fit the other day, so I was making sure that everything was still saved and working, and game saves and stuff was still working. If I'd lost Fallout and stuff, I'd have been fucking gutted. But luckily, they're all on external hard drives. They're all okay. But I did load up Arkham Knight, but it seems completely broken, and the frame rate's an absolute joke. So I'm not sure what's happened there. So I'm gonna have to try and fix that. So that's one. I watched Dark Knight Returns Part 2 a couple of weeks ago, and then I watched the Dawn of Justice Batman intro, like that sort of intro 40 seconds, about 50 times. So that probably counts for something as well.
They're all very good, but I'm pretty sure I said the last Batman thing you did. I didn't say 3. You're living in the past, Dan.
Sorry.
That's the old
No,
question.
you said last 3, and then I said I interrupted you, and then you went, then you just carried on with what you were saying. So I still went 3. So fuck you.
Bye.